modified flipped classroom before this already, both of us. But maybe some of you, or maybe all of you, were not here that time. So we will touch a bit still on the modified flipped classroom. Then after that, we will move on to active learning strategies. So first thing first, let's look at the learning outcomes of the day. So after this workshop, you should be able to know the effectiveness of a modified flipped classroom, and also you'll be able to create a lesson plan, or we call it as a lesson outline, using active learning activities based on the modified flipped classroom method. And third, we will reflect on your lesson plan and try to see whether there are some improvements can be done. So we will look at each other's lesson plan later on, and we will try to give feedback so that we all can improve together. So we will begin with ice breaking first. Should we introduce ourselves one by one, Miss Shamini, or how? That's a very traditional ice breaking session. By the way, maybe some of you do not know us. I'm Wendy from the Department of Languages. Miss Shamini also. We are both from the Department of Languages. So later on, we would like to know more about you. I would like everyone here later on to do a short and simple activity, and you are required to introduce yourself, from which campus and department, as well as to find an object around you, maybe in your room, on your table, that suits your personality best. So later on, you introduce yourself first, and then get the object and show it to the camera. That means you will have to turn on your camera for a short while, then explain why you think that particular object suits you the best. So let's give an example. For example, I would say my smartphone represents me the best. Why? Because in my phone, I have a lot of apps. I always need to, it is like me, myself, I always have to do multitasking a lot of times. So for example, Miss Shamini, what about you? What suits you the best? What is the object around you now that suits you the best?
All right, gonna be something that I need to remember. Okay, so since we are in a classroom, there's nothing much. It's pretty much an empty classroom here. But I did bring with me along something that we all have, I'm sure. It's a paper. Can be a white paper without any writing. Can be a lined one. Okay, just a paper, a piece of paper. Why a piece of paper? Why it represents me the best? Because that's the only thing you can think of here in this room. And also together with that, I believe with a white paper, I can write my own story, my own progress, my own development in terms of work life, working environment, and also at home, my personal life. So it's like I have the story to write. And of course, we do mistakes. And that's the part where you scribble out or you use liquid paper to erase and all. So, and then, you try something new and write over it. So yeah, a white paper represents me the best. I'm quite flexible, so yeah, that's it. That's all about me. So let's wait and see. So that I think you guys have already had enough time to find an item around you.
So we will have on let's just check. Are you done finding the object that represents you the best? Are you
Yes.
done? Okay, good. So we will have Miss Shamini to, oh, okay. I think it's because of the virtual background that we can't see clearly. Um, What is that, Miss Low, is it? The camera was on and off, but then because of the virtual background, I think the object is not clear in front of the camera. So we will go like this, yeah. The first person, after finish explaining, the first person will choose the next participant to share.
Okay, this is Min. Can you see me?
Cannot. We see the virtual background only.
Virtual. I already
Mm.
removed already. Oh.
Mhm.
I already removed. Still cannot see.
Now the virtual is on the top. Right.
Wait. Okay, none. I put none now. Okay, can see?
It's a different image now. Is this something that you are holding?
Yeah, this is my painting. I just want to introduce
Ah.
myself. I'm still in the art studio teaching my student painting. So I
Okay.
want to introduce myself first because later I will have a lot of students coming in. Yeah, I'm actually from SCCM, Glen Mary campus. And so I'm actually teaching students how to draw and paint. Yeah.
So
Enough, right?
yep, the painting will suit you the best. It represents you. I think when people think of you, they think of the painting.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Miss Low. Miss Low, right? Would you like to choose the next participant? Next lucky person? That's what I always do with my student. You present, then you get to choose the next lucky person.
What about Miss Faslin? Are you here?
Okay. Miss Faslin? Miss Faslin, are you here? Is it my connection issue? Because just now, Miss Faslin also, her message in the chat box also reached a bit late from my side. No, probably she's not here. Okay, never mind. Miss Shamini, which lucky person would you like to hear from?
Can I hear from let's see, Muna? Is Muna here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm at home actually, so nothing much I can find. But what I can find around me is okay, my watch. Okay, because I'm a punctual person, so I love person to be punctual whenever we made appointment and so on, right? So actually, hi, I'm Muna. I'm from GT campus. I'm teaching chemistry from CPUS Department, Center for Pre-University Studies. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Muna. Okay, Muna, the next lucky person is?
Okay, next one I choose Xiao Ling.
Yay, as expected.
Thank you, Muna. Hi, everyone. I'm in the office. I'm Xiu from Center for Pre-University Study. I'm teaching biology. And the things that I can get from my table, a food container. Why I choose the food container is because we need energy to work. So without energy or when we are in hunger, we cannot think of how to deliver the lecture properly. And through eating, we can de-stress as well. Buy the food that we like, then de-stress.
Yep.
So done for
you
my
put
part.
in your the food into the container. It's like putting food into you.
Yes.
When it is full, then you can work.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. So Xiaoling, next person is
Miss Shalini.
okay, Miss Shalini.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Right. Okay, so I have a bookmark, small bookmark. Now, okay, I'm Shalini from UG campus. So sorry. Okay, so I have this bookmark that I use always when I'm reading. Why is this not special, but it is handy because it is magnetic, so it doesn't spoil the pages. So you just clip it and it's there. It doesn't spoil the pages. There's no dog ears at the side. So yeah, this is what I like the most. Bookmark.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Miss Shalini, next lucky person.
Okay, how do I see? Siuling, Tay Siuling.
Huh? She just presented before you.
Just presented. Oops, sorry. Sanjay Kumar.
Hi, Mr. Sanjay.
Hi, hello. So I'm new to this institution. I just joined this month. So I'm not teaching any classes yet. But what I've been doing is I've been walking into my colleagues' classroom and sitting in with them and all that, tutorials and all. So I find that I've using this a lot. I carry a lot of pencil, pen, and highlighters or markers because it helps me to bring down my discussion with the students. So I tend to write down colored inks and on paper and discussion in classroom. And it's something that I do even personally. I take down a lot of notes in my journal, in my sketchbook. So yeah, I suppose this. That's all.
And may I know which department are you from?
Built environment, interior
Oh, I
design.
see. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you very much. So, Mr. Sanjay, next person.
I think I would say Mr. Muhammad Hazim.
Mr. Muhammad. Mr. Hazim, are you here?
Hi, Hazim is not here. He
Oh,
has
okay.
stepped out for a while. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So probably another person?
Okay, I will pick a name that sounds like my lecturer's name from my undergraduate. Yes, Miss Muna.
Oh, she just presented.
All right lah. Okay, I throw a dart lah. Dr. Uy. Dr. Uy.
Uy? Is Dr. Uy here? Not in the meeting.
Not in the meeting.
Mm.
Shows here. All right lah. Wendy Wong.
I'm Wendy.
Oh, sorry,
Okay,
sorry.
never mind. We have one volunteer, which is Miss Fazlin. She said
Fazlin.
she wants to go next. Okay, Miss Fazlin, your turn now.
Morning. Sorry, my connection is bad. Hi, my name is Fazlin binti Auluddin. I'm from this one is BK campus, and I'm teaching same department as Mr. Sanjay. I'm teaching ID. So I think the best thing that suits me is actually this thing. Can you see this one?
Okay.
It's actually a model. So most of my students say that, oh, when Miss Fazin teaching the class, she must be asking us to do models. So related with models. So I think this one will be the best thing to suit me.
Mm,
Okay,
thank you very much.
That's all.
So Miss Fazlin, next person is
Next person. Let me see the list. Could it be Miss Caldi?
Miss Khalid.
Hi everyone. Good
Hi.
morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Kaldip Kaur from TLC in UG campus. Right. So I have calculator. In fact, I have two calculators. All right. I'm a maths lecturer, and definitely this will be the best device to describe me lah. And I use this almost every day. Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
calculator.
Yeah.
I cannot remember when was the last time I used a calculator, a scientific calculator.
Yeah. This been with me like for about more than 10 years. Yep.
We have who is this? With the camera on and off? Mr. Wong, is it?
Hi, yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, we're testing my camera.
Yep, it's dark.
All right. Can see?
Can see your plant.
Hi. Oh, yeah, sorry. My name is Julian Wong. I'm from SCCM. I was testing my camera just now. Sorry about that. So I think the thing that represent me would be the plants that I use it every day. It sits next to my table. It provides fresh air, and then it reminds me that um, every day as a lecturer we should provide a new idea for the students. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, so everybody presented. Oh, I would like to call upon another Mr. Wong as well. Mr. Wong Kian Soon, are you here?
Yeah. Can you all hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Excuse me. Yeah. I'm now in office. I'm Wong from GT from Penang campus, Georgetown campus, and the School of Business. So all the times I attending anything, so in front of me definitely have a notebook. So the thing can represent me is a notebook. So most probably I'll be stay there because all the while I will mention with my students everything, please put something down in writing. That's why you easier to remember, easier to understand, interpret everything. So this is all my habit lah. Okay.
So that means when
You all.
students think of Mr. Wong, they think of a notebook.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very
So I
much.
think who else is not here? The person. I think no more already. I'm the
Yep.
last. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much. I hope you guys at least know each other a little bit. At least we can see how you look like and how we look like, and from which department, which campus. So let's go to the next one. So we all know that we are slowly or maybe fully having our physical classes or hybrid classes now. Do you guys face any challenges moving from last time we all did physical classes, then we moved to online classes, then now we move on to physical or hybrid classes? You face any difficulties? Maybe you can type in the chat box. the challenges you face moving from online to physical or hybrid classes? Like for me, I only teach international students. I'm only teaching intensive English. So my classes are actually quite small, very small number of students. The biggest challenge that I face is students say, Miss, can I attend classes online instead of coming to the campus? Because I cannot walk. They are staying in the hostel. Today, my legs pain. I cannot walk to the campus. I want to attend classes online. Can or not? I'm still attending classes. It's just that I attend online classes. I don't want to go to physical classes. They say they don't want to come because they know they have another option now. They can actually attend classes online. What about Miss Shamini? Do you face any challenges?
Well, there are a lot of challenges from my side that I would like to say. Of course, we used to be very comfortable with our physical classes before, right? Especially before MCO. And we are very, very used to physical classes. We are very comfortable. We can identify the students and all. But then when COVID happened, MCO happened, everything's all of a sudden we had to change our mode of instruction to online. So it was a shock to everyone. In a way, like, how are we going to do this online? Because we are very used to and very comfortable teaching them face to face. How are we going to, make sure that students learn through online? So, with new teaching platforms, and if you still remember those days, I mean, not so those days, but beginning of these online sessions and all, we hardly could get any response from students. It just feels like we're talking to the laptop, right? It's like, what is this? Why am I talking to the laptop? Why students are not responding? And in a way, you start to doubt yourself. Like, am I actually teaching? Are they actually learning from me? That's one of the challenge that I kind of faced before. And personally as a lecturer also, we had a lot of things to prepare, a lot of things to learn in terms of technological tools, how to do it, how to conduct activities and so on. There's a lot of learning process happened. But now we are into our hybrid mode. Okay, so I teach classes in hybrid mode, 1 hour online and then 2 hours face to face. Okay, and there are also some classes where one line is dedicated just for flip lesson. That means they do their own learning, and 2 hours they come to class and we learn from it. And there are also other classes where it's fully 3 hours online. So I'm like in a hybrid mode with many subjects to teach. So my challenge is that, again, same like what Ms. Wendy said, they prefer to do it online now because they are very comfortable. They don't want to get up from the bed and come to campus, especially if it's in the morning. They prefer lying on their bed and listening to the lecture instead of, participating in the class. They feel like, I go to class, I got nothing to do, it's okay, get stuck in traffic and all. And, those kind of things is one of the challenges that I feel. And even if some students were to come to class, they are not really prepared. They just come, sit, and they go. So, these are some of the challenges that I face here, balancing between a full-fledged physical class and full-fledged online class here. Do you have any other responses in the chat box?
Yep, I think most of them are giving the same answers. Like students are quite comfortable with online classes. They don't want to come physically. But Xiao Ling said students are fine with face-to-face classes. Oh, so before they come to the next class, they need to do something. All right, which brings to our topic of the day. Okay, which is modified flipped classroom. So I believe some of you are actually doing flipped or modified flipped classroom already. It's just that you probably do not know it is actually called modified flipped classroom. So let's go to our topic of the day today. I want you to think of this did I change my screen? Not-
Yeah,
Okay. What
yeah, got
comes to
more.
your mind when you come across the term flipped classroom? Let me share my screen so that you can actually key in your response. Hold on, yeah. Let me stop sharing. And then, okay. Can you see my screen now? Okay, you can key in your response. You can key in multiple responses. Go to www.menti.com and then key in the code here, or I will copy the link and put it in the chat box. Is the link working? Yeah. Okay. So what comes to your mind when people tell you flip classroom? Self-study before lecture. Okay. Lesser teaching time. Student-centered. Okay. Students learn at their own pace. I see most of the responses here, they are like the benefits for students. What about lecturers? Like for example, one of you here, you say lesser teaching time, which is sounds like a good news for lecturers. What other benefits that we can think of for lecturers? Okay, students have control, active learning, unprepared, class time for activities, students be facilitators, complete tasks, active discussion, students more prepared, better understanding, self-learning, flexible. Flexible for the lecturers or for the teachers? Sorry, for the students. Miss Shamini is feeling cold, you see. Flexible for lecturers. Okay. All right, we have some responses here, which, yeah, they do describe what is flipped classroom. So I believe we are all very familiar with flipped classroom already. But what we are going to learn today, to share to you all today, is regarding this modified flipped classroom. Okay, so let's look at the connection, okay, between blended learning and flipped classroom model first. Miss Shamini?
Okay, all right. So I'm sure you've heard of this word blended learning many times before. And of course, flipped classroom is something that is quite familiar. We are all very used to this particular term. But what I would like to tell you, or what I would like to highlight here, is that blended learning, of course, it's an umbrella term. It's the main idea, right? But under blended learning, of course, we have different terms such as rotation model, lab rotation, individual rotation model, flipped classroom, and so on. So when it comes to blended, it means that, of course, you are conducting a lesson not 100% face-to-face, not 100% physically, but you are trying to incorporate some kind of an online learning or some kind of self-learning from the student side, right? So this is what we call as a blend, okay, blending between 100% face-to-face and uh, self-study, online studies, and so on. But what happened is that when the term blended learning or flipped classroom came into the place first, many educators mistook it as, oh, flipped classroom means we give everything to the students, they do their own learning, they come to class, and then we continue to lecture, we continue to teach what the particular topic is all about. That is one misconception that educators used to have. So basically what's happening here is that they do two things, okay? They learn on their own, students learn on their own, and they come to class and they are also learning the same thing. So when this happen, students feel like, oh, why are we doing this again and again? So might as well I come to class and learn from my lecturer instead of, doing extra preparation at home. So this was the early misconception that students and teachers used to have. So they didn't really get the proper understanding of what is a flipped classroom. But now, of course, since there are a lot of trainings conducted about flipped classroom and all, slowly, one by one, students are getting used to this particular term. The students and teachers are trying to understand this term better. So, of course, under blended learning, we have different ways. We have station rotation model. Okay. What's going to happen here? What's happening in flipped lesson is that students learn at home, but in class, you are not learning it all over again, but you are testing what they have learned. You are trying to test what they have studied, okay, by doing multiple tasks in class, by asking questions or by doing activities. So some of the activities that's listed here is the station rotation model, which is like a group work. Okay, you have different stations, and based on these stations, students will go to station A, complete task A, and then maybe this particular group of students go to station B, complete task B, okay, and then go to station C. So they rotate their turn, and then they go and they complete whatever task that's given. Okay, this actually gives them some kind of like a movement, instead of just sitting there and doing in a piece of paper, they're actually being very active and they move around the class. So lab rotation is also one of the ways where you rotate between classroom and the lab. Okay, so flipped classroom model is basically when you allow students to study at home, give them materials. I've also seen the word self-study, right? When you say self-study, it's not self-study, means you provide all the materials there and they do the studying there. Okay, so after studying, they come to class, they do activities. Next slide, Wendy. Okay, so this is what happened before, okay, using the traditional classroom method. Okay, before the class, all come to class empty mind with zero, blank. They have no knowledge about the topic at all. Okay, and they come to class, they learn from you. Okay, they learn everything from you. You impart or you lecture, you teach the students, and then you provide them with some homework. Let them do their task at home. Next one. Okay, so what this flipped classroom means, you provide the materials, not students learn on their own, not students find information on their own. Of course, they can, but I believe we need to give them some kind of guidance. So you provide the materials, you provide the slides, you provide videos or things like that to the students beforehand and say, okay, before you come to my class next, I want you to go through the slides, I want you to go through the video, I want you to do some research about a topic. Okay, so they are kind of like prepared before coming to class. So in class, of course, you need to do some kind of a review, not teaching them entirely, not lecturing entirely the 2 hours. Yeah, you allocate like about 15 minutes just to review back, ask the students, okay, what have you learned? What did you study? What is the outcome of the research that you did at home? So, you trigger their schemata a little bit. And then only you conduct activities in class, not lectures in class. Okay, you do task. And when I say task, it's not just, handouts or open learning, you complete all the tasks there. No, means physical activities in class that allows them to move around, that allows them to discuss with other students, that allows collaboration, communication. Yeah, basically that's it. Okay, and this will get or trigger more understanding, okay, about the particular topic. Okay, when they interact with people, then they will get, oh, okay, this is what it means, and so on. And of course, after the class, you can either give them a very short homework task to complete, or you can also ask them to do a reflection on what have you understood about the topic, today's topic. Next. Okay, so I'm sure all of you are familiar with this pyramid here, right? It's called, let me see whether you guys can still remember or not. Do you remember what is the pyramid called? I'll give you a clue. It starts with letter B. Yeah, very good, Sally. You're a very bright student. Yes, Anjay, correct. All right. So this is a very common name. Okay, it's a Bloom taxonomy. In fact, we prepare our assessments and all based on this Bloom's taxonomy, right? The type or difficulty of the questions and so on. So if you see in traditional classroom, what happens is that we give them the knowledge, we give them a lecture, which means we are telling them the theories, we are reading from the textbook, we are conducting, imparting the knowledge about the basic things, okay, which helps them to apply, helps them to understand, helps them to remember. This is what happens in classroom before. And then when it comes to homework, you give them creating higher level, higher order thinking skill questions like, okay, create an essay or create a table, conduct a research, analyze the difference between this and this. So all these are the homework part. So when they do this at home, they probably don't have a guidance. They don't know whom to ask. So it's either, they give up and don't do the homework at all, or they come to class the next day and copy from their friends. So this is basically what happened in traditional classroom. However, next slide. I need to constantly remind her about the next slide. However, when it comes to flipped classroom, okay, flipped classroom is it's the opposite, where student will do the basic things, the lower level thinking part. Students will study from the material. Students will try to understand what the content means. Student will try to apply by answering basic questions. So all of this is an easier level, so they will be doing at home. However, when it comes to class, all right, when they see you, you guide them to answer higher level thinking skills, hot questions, hot activity, make them evaluate things with guidance, of course, you know. So by using flip model, you are assisting them, you are guiding them, you are facilitating the entire process. So when I say the word facilitating, my HOD likes this particular word. We are not lecturers, we are not teachers anymore, but we are more of a facilitators. Okay, facilitators as in we are guiding them. Of course, with current help of technology, students can Google the answers and all. So why are you there when students can Google all the answers and get all the information from there? You know, when you're saying something, immediately they will just take the phone and it's like, oh, miss, you said something wrong. Oh, miss, yes, it's correct, you know. So why are you doing the job? So that is why Flip helps you to do the job at home, and you in class help them to engage with the materials, engage with the students, and look over whether they are learning or not. The next one. Okay, so as a conclusion, I would say flipped classroom basically means before you study the materials, during you apply all the activities there, you ask them to do things, you integrate, and after class, they will do some kind of a reflection. Okay, so this is a summary or basic summary of a flipped classroom. Before, learn, during, you apply, and then later you reflect, right? So moving on to the next slide, which is which is a question. Choose the correct answer. So I'm going to ask Miss Wendy's help to pose the question. And don't worry, it is all anonymous. So if you choose the wrong answer, it's all right. All right. So what is a flipped learning? Is it A, teaching method where students watch videos before class and in class they do discussion? Or option B, it's where students memorize the information before class and come here and do quiz? Or is it option C, where students teach themselves with the materials without any guidance? What's the answer? So far we have four participants. This 6. Come on, guys. I know some of you are busy with marking this week, but come on, let's just participate in this for a bit.
Should I vote as well?
Well, I know you know the answer, but yeah. Okay, we have 8 participants answered the questions out of 10. We have 2 more left. Okay, we have 9 participants. All right, never mind. So let's look at the answer here. 100% correct answer here. Okay, yeah, the correct answer is A. Of course, flipped lesson is not something that students memorize at home, no, or it is not something that students learn without guidance. Of course, you as a lecturer, you have to provide some kind of a guidance for them to learn, a guideline, all right? So it is a teaching method where students watch videos, of course, there's one of the example, or they can read, they can do some kind of a research before they come to class, and in class, they will share their knowledge, they should share what they've learned in class by doing various activities. Okay, moving on to the next one.
So next one, we are going to, after learning about what is flipped classroom, let's look at why we need to do that. Probably you keep on receiving this request from your boss, maybe your PL saying that, oh, I suggest you should do flip, but why? Of course, according to the explanation given by Miss Shamini just now, we need to do flipped. Of course, is because we don't want to keep on lecturing the students. Students, their attention span is shorter and shorter nowadays. So we want our lesson to be customized and engaging. So during your class, when they come and apply their knowledge, through tasks like presentations, discussions, problem solving tasks, and so on, it is more engaging. They don't sit there and listen to you only. They will apply whatever they have learned before coming to class. And it is customized because you can actually, based on the performance, the task that you gave them before the class, you can look at their performance. Then only you identify the common problems that the students have. Then you try to design suitable lesson or activities when they come for your class to conduct during your class. Or you can emphasize on the errors that you notice from the pre-class activities. And the next one is the recorded lectures actually help students to review for their exams. Because, last time when sorry, it doesn't change, is it? Do you see? Okay. All right, recorded lectures help students to review for the exam. We all know that, especially during the MCO period, we have online classes, and we always record our lectures so that after class, students can actually review, because probably they have poor internet connection, so they want to review before their exam. So the same thing goes to flipped classroom. Even if, let's say, you are only doing your recording, you record the PowerPoint slides with your voice or with your face, explaining about the slides, those recording can actually help them to review for their exams as well. If not, otherwise you will get a lot of students WhatsApp you, disturbing you before the exam, or what is this? Because they probably forgot what they have learned in week 1, week 2, and so on. Number 3, students are more satisfied and they can perform better because you know their problems through the pre-class activities. And during the class, you actually focus on the problems they face, and you customize your lessons already. So of course, they feel more satisfied because you attend to their problems, and also they can, of course, perform better. Number 4, it helps to speed up syllabus as well. Okay, this one you are probably wondering, how can flip classroom method speed up syllabus? Okay, this is an example that I got from Miss Shamini. She used this to speed up her syllabus in her one of her classes. So for example, in English, we have 12 tenses. So we can't possibly teach all the 12 tenses in just one class. So what we can do is, for example, we have the simpler tenses, for example, like present tense, past tense. Those tenses, I think our students, they should have learned before coming to college, right? So what we do is we divide them. For example, the simpler tenses, we put it as pre-class activity. as a revision. They do, they learn, and then during the class, we just focus on the complex tenses only, so that you don't spend the whole class explaining, teaching about all the 12 tenses. So before class, they can do on their own the simpler ones. And then from the pre-class activity, if you notice that, they are a group of students, they are quite weak or they are still confused with past tense, for example, then during the class, maybe you can start with reviewing the past tense first. Then only you move on to the discussion, to the activities that you want to do on the complex tenses, for example, so that it is much faster. All right, it's time to check whether you understood whatever that I've just said. So I will now pose the second question in the chat box to see whether you know the correct answers or the correct answer or not. However, I will need some time to put in the question for you. It is regarding the primary goal of flipped classroom. Okay, I hope you can see the question now. All right, so what is the primary goal of flipped learning or flipped classroom? Is it to eliminate the need for teachers so that we are free and we don't need to do anything? Or to promote student engagement and active learning, or to reduce the amount of time spent in class? Right, we have 5 votes, 6 votes now. Seven votes. All right, let's look at the correct answer. Of course, the correct answer is B, which is to promote student engagement and active learning. We are no longer in the traditional kind of classroom teaching anymore. We want students to engage and they learn actively instead of listening to us all the while during the class. Okay, so you all got correct. Everybody here is a good student. You actually listened carefully. All right, so what is your issue? If let's say, just now I talked so much about flipped classroom, Shanmini and I, we talked a lot about flipped classroom already. So probably you actually implemented a flipped classroom before and you faced some issues. So what are the issues that you face or you are facing when you implement this flipped classroom?
Can I answer the main one?
Okay.
In fact, even after many sessions of doing this flipped classrooms, right? There's still one fundamental issue that I face every time I do this flip lesson. At 1 hour flip, then 2 hours activities in class. Is that no matter how many times you tell the students, no matter how many notes or links or videos you give, some students they just refuse to read and study before coming to class. It's something, especially in the beginning of the semester, the first 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks especially, right? I always notice this, that they just refuse. They say they got no time, and then they just say no. I didn't study. I didn't look at it. And when I do these activities in class, It's very, very challenging. It's very difficult because they don't know what they are doing. They don't know the core thing, especially with the subject like not language, but this is more to writing and referencing. I'm sure Ms. Shalini here, she knows. So when it comes to writing and referencing, of course, they need to understand a few important concepts on how to write a proper referencing, how to write a proper citation, and so on. So they are in my class without any knowledge. Okay, so when I do activities in class, they constantly get 0 marks or they don't know what they are doing and so on. So this is something that I face. It's a main challenge that I face the first 3 to 4 weeks.
So
Yes.
Miss Shamini, you see all the similar answers. I am very curious about how Xiaoling forced them to do. I don't know how to force actually.
Just that I know students, that's the thing. I still feel that they are from school and they are in the mindset where we only learn in classroom. Yes, enjoy.
Yeah, excuse me. Hello, can you all hear my voice so far? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
So I just wonder as a question over here. Actually, basically we try to guide, but the student normally they are not cooperated. So even the material we provided and all that, then just the Miss Sabini also mentioned they are give us the negative response. So we facing a very deep on our difficulty to conducting the class. So you have to go back to the traditional again, correct or not? So I I believe is a conjunction, and we need to really have a proper, we so called like counseling or what courses to them to make sure that they are the student totally understand the benefit of it, and they are very want to be participate to our free classroom. Otherwise, I think is the theoretical part only that we can do. This is my point of view. So actually, you know, lately all our student, we won't say that the level is low or what. We won't quote them, but probably they are not in that their preparations for their class, their lessons. So even we are conducted online or even we are conducted on physical, also we facing the same thing. This is all my opinion lah. So so far so long, so we have to go back to the traditional way, spoon fed them. Correct not? So this
Yeah.
is why, yeah.
Miss,
Okay, thank you.
no, I just wanted to ask to get a better idea. Your students are mainly these diploma students, or it's a mix of diploma and degree students?
All almost the same. Which level also the
Oh,
same.
so degree and diploma, they are all the same.
Yeah. So their main aims, basically their main aims is they want to say, oh, I won't so put much effort, and in order can be get better marks. This is their current aims.
Okay, so we as a lecturer, or so far we so-called ourselves as a facilitator, or better words that we are the educator, we guide, and these all things we design, but they are not appreciate, and then they are not get our, how to say, our signal, our objective properly. They have their own thinking, and they make sure that they will be passed, they will be graduated. This is all my so far my opinion and my experience so long. I'm facing all the standard of the student. They're facing the same thing, especially the Gen right now. Okay, thank you.
I totally agree. I had a very, very difficult time handling this flipped classroom. Like what I said just now, right? You know, you are in the class, but when you're doing the activity, they don't know anything. They don't know what's happening. They just like, you know, give negative response that in a way, right, you feel very demotivated. It's like, am I doing the right thing? Why the students are not cooperating enough? Why the students are not learning? Why? For many instances, right, I have doubted myself during the lesson and I feel very, very demotivated. But of course, all these are the early stage of implementing this split classroom. Of course, even now, I do face a little here and there hiccups here and there. However, moving to yeah, knock their heads and wake them up. All right, next slide. Miss Wendy. Of course, we do have a lot of issues. We have a lot of um, uh, complaints over the students, right? But first thing first, we need to understand the first point is, okay, we need to establish a ground rule. Like this is my personal experience, yeah. I'm just sharing with you. Like I said in the beginning, right? I don't just teach one particular student. I teach students across departments. I teach business students, I teach computing students, so I teach across, yeah. So first thing we need to understand is that students, they come from school. The background is from school. And in school, you know how the lessons are like. You know, teacher just spoon feed everything. The students just memorize all the content and then sit for the exam. So this is a common practice. So they have been doing this for almost like what, more than 10 years in their life, and they are already how to say mold in a way that this is how learning is. Teachers will teach. I have to study at home, do homework at home, and then do exam and excel. This is how they were molded for about almost what 10 years, more than 10 years in school. So I face these issues especially for diploma students or even foundation students where they expect me to give everything to them. Same like secondary school students. So it's different learning styles between secondary schools and tertiary education. So what we need to do is we need to stop spoon feeding the students in class. Okay, we need to usually the first session in my class is that I will tell them the importance of self-learning. Okay, after introducing all the course syllabus and so on, I will go through with them the importance of take note of all these plagiarism issues so that they don't plagiarize. And together with that, I tell them that nope, this is not how we learn in tertiary level. Tertiary level is that you pay money, you have to take ownership, you have to do your own learning. You need to somehow learn before you come to class. And I also share a video, um, can't remember the source, but there is a video where, 50 years ago, 50 years ago car and the current car. And 50 years ago, what is it? Yeah, phone, how phone was 50 years ago and now. And then I straight away show them education is also the same. 50 years ago, you be in class, ask question, raise teacher kita. But now it's changing. It's not the same as how it used to be before. Okay, so we need to prepare them for real life experience. So we need to establish the ground rules. Of course, for the first 2 weeks or 3 weeks, they will not listen to you. They will not study and come to class. However, when they see a pattern, when you don't cooperate, when you don't teach them, they know that they are losing a lot of information. Then slowly they will take ownership into their learning. I say, if you don't study this, if you don't do this, then you're going to fail in this particular topic when I assess you. So try to go and study. So this is one thing that I do, establish ground rules first. The second one here is, second point here is, of course, list very, very clear instructions. So when I say list clear instruction, that means when you ask students to do your self-study, you give them materials, yes, you give them videos, yes, you give them PDF files to read and ask them to research and all. But to what extent that they're supposed to study? What is it that they're supposed to focus? Usually during asynchronous session when they are studying on their own, remember that they are not guided. You are not there to help them to teach and all. So when you prepare materials, asynchronous materials for flip lessons and all, please list down clear instructions on from where to where you're supposed to focus, what is it that you're supposed to watch, what is your specific focus, your specific topic that you want to learn. So another one thing that I noticed that lecturers share with me in the previous sessions is that they don't want to study, they are lost. My suggestion is, instead of giving one whole topic for them to learn at home, why not you give subtopics for them, a clear short subtopics, so that they can actually understand it better. They of course they need some time to actually read and all. So spell it out to students. Focus on one specific topic and list clear instructions on what to do, what activities you're supposed to complete. If they are MCQ questions, then ask them to complete these MCQ questions. If there's a specific online game that you have created related to your topic, you ask them to do those online games, and make sure, which leads back to my previous point, establish ground rules. Tell them, if they don't do this, you don't get your attendance, or you will somehow lose this important part that will be coming up for your exam and so on. And the third point here, Ms. Wendy, is that to create active learning activities. So as I said, right, some students, they want to go back to online session because they don't want to come to physical classes anymore due to all these traffic issues and all, right? So let it be physical or online. Just remember to don't just do one medium. Do one medium as in the mistake that I did before is that I used to post a lot of videos, ask them to study from the videos from YouTube. So for all this session, I'll ask them to go YouTube and watch this and answer the question. Go YouTube, watch this, answer the question. So it always used to be that one medium that I used. So then I realized that students don't want to watch video all the time, especially when it comes to education and all. So I realized to have a variety there. So what happened is that I will do some kind of quizzes. You could also add the slides in the quizzes and ask poll questions and all. So I started to do that instead of sharing only videos. So I post these asynchronous quizzes lessons, so they can read from the slides, they can answer the question and read and answer questions. So it's like a continuation. Okay, so you also will know, you'll get the result in the end, right? You will know whether or not students understood the particular topic or not. Okay, don't just overwhelm them by asking them to watch videos only, but do a variety of exercises. Okay, sometimes you might not need them to read anything. You just pose questions. You ask them to do their own research. Okay, you give them like about 5 questions. Okay, these are the questions I've not taught in the class yet, but try to find the answers. So when they try to find answers for these 5 questions, indirectly they are learning things. They are learning, they're getting new knowledge from it. Another one more thing that I like, instead of quizzes, the slides and question, is that I use Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is a video, of course, but in that video, you also insert questions. So after a few seconds, there'll be a question which will pop up. So the students have to answer the question in order to continue watching the video. So by that also, you can monitor whether the students actually understood. Instead of just watching it, they are watching and doing things. Okay. In another way, right, you can also ask them to create content. I'm not saying you have to create all the content by yourself, but another active learning strategy is that you ask them to create, for example, tenses. Like I said, tenses, I will ask them to do research. I will ask them to create a poster, and then I will ask them to come to class and present. In that way, I am not really teaching them, the students are teaching other students. So, in a way, they know that, okay, I need to make sure that whatever content that I'm delivering should be the right one. Okay, they have that concern. So, setting up flipped lessons are, of course, difficult at first, but as you practice, you will somehow get the hang of it. So, as I said, right, I teach different courses. So, these particular students were in my class for their first semester, they already know my style. Okay, I've already established the rule. Okay, you have to do this. If you don't do this, these are the consequences. So you establish the rule. The first few weeks, of course, it's not so great, but when they see me again in another semester with another course, they know, okay, this lecturer style is this. This lecturer will not lecture in class. This lecturer expects us to do things. So automatically they are learning thing tuned. And in my second course, they are like better. Okay. They are not expecting me to lecture in class, but they are like more to independent already. So the problem now I feel is that not everyone is doing the same thing. If everyone, all the lecturers in tertiary education are doing the same thing, establish the same rules, give the clear instruction, do the activities in class, I'm sure slowly the students will adapt and they will be very familiar, or they will know, okay, tertiary level education, you learn on your own. Okay. And the fourth point is to provide feedback. Okay. Flipped lesson is not just watching videos. Of course, they watch videos, they do activities, questions and all, right? So once you got back the questions, you provide feedback to them. Okay, saying that, hey, your work is correct. I think you can make it better. You can write it better and so on. Of course, it's very difficult to provide one-to-one feedback due to number of students in class. However, you can give a collective feedback, maybe like in quizzes. Okay, you already know that these are the type of questions that students get wrong, frequent wrong. So what I do is I choose the question, and then in class, I will review with them. Okay, so this is the question that many students got wrong. So why this answer is wrong, and then I will guide them, provide them with feedback. Instead of giving one-to-one feedback, you collect it and you post it. All right, so next slide, which actually leads to this. Our focus, the second half of the focus, is of course to create active learning activities. When I say active learning activities in class, what are they? What kind of activities can we do? Because I still believe lecturers are still lecturing in class in that 2-hour period. Okay, although we have already allocated 1 hour for flip and 2 hours in class, but still, some lecturers that I know, even in my department, they are lecturing. So one thing that we need to change is that eliminate the lecture part, just focus on the review and incorporate a lot of active learning activities in class. Okay, which leads to the next part of the slide, which is the question. Miss Wendy, can you post a question? In your chat box? Miss Wendy, can you repost again? I think it says there's a problem. Okay, it's okay now. So is it A, give general instruction to the students, establish ground rules, or give a 2-hour lecture in class? The question is in the chat box. Hey, interesting. One person answered A. All participants answered B. Of course, we have more than 5 participants in this class, in this session. More responses? So this is what typically happen in online sessions, yeah. If the lecturer tend to talk a little bit, and then, some people just go missing. Okay. So again, yep, the answer is establishing ground rules. I'm not sure that one person will give general instruction to students. Yes, you give instruction to students, but not a general or a vague instruction, but you give a specific and detailed instruction so that the students will know, will understand what is it. Okay? No, don't give general instructions here. So moving on to the next slide. So the a little bit more here. So when it says active learning strategy, okay, what is active learning strategy and why it is important? And these active learning strategies can be conducted in class, or it can also be conducted as a flip. Okay, it depends on what kind of activities that you are doing or you are developing here. So this is actually who is it? Yeah, Charles Bonwell and James Asen. These two people actually have developed the theory, okay, of active learning, and it is basically about student-centered learning. And guess what? These learning strategies been there since 1991. Okay, it's like more than 30 years already. This active learning strategy is there. However, it's just that, educators are not really following it or not really implementing it. That's why there's a delay, even after 30 years it's been established, not many educators, not just lecturers, including teachers from the secondary school, they are not really, implementing this in their classrooms. So it's a little bit difficult here. Okay. Moving on to the next slide. Why? What? Okay, what and why? So active learning is actually a type of activities or task that involves the students in their learning. Okay, when they are doing these activities, they are also thinking about what they are doing. They are not just blindly following the other students. They are not blindly listening to a lecturer, but they are also thinking about what they are learning. They are thinking about what they are doing. Okay, next slide. So when I say why do we need to have active learning strategy here? Of course, it will make them encounter new information and ideas. Okay, so when I say encounter new information and ideas, we can also incorporate flip here, where students read from PDFs, students watch videos from YouTube or Edpuzzle, or students read slides from quizzes where they read and you put some questions and all, right? So you can use flip here, definitely. Okay, you can prepare a short video, you can use lessons, you can use puzzles and all. So you provide them with new information about this particular topic. The second one here is what we call as engage with information and ideas. So when I say engage with information and ideas, it means that this part, students are with another student. Students are with a group of students. Students are with the lecturer or the facilitators. So they are discussing about the content in class. Okay, not just listening to what the lecturers are saying, but they are discussing the topic. They are trying to complete a task. You can do this face to face and also online as well. In online, I'm sure most of you are already aware, in Teams or Zoom or Google Meet and all, right? You have breakout rooms. So in these breakout rooms, they get to be in their group and discuss. They don't have to be shy to that all the other students are watching. They will be in their separate rooms, and of course they can engage in the particular task and provide their answers using Google Doc or Canva or Jamboard, okay, all these applications. Okay, if it is face-to-face physical session, of course, they can do a rotation model activity where you set up different stations, okay, and you give them the question in those stations. So when they when they go to that particular station, they try to answer the question, they discuss with their group, they moving around also, instead of just sitting there and talking. The next one, the third one, is reflect on their learning. Okay, why active learning strategy is important? Because it helps them to reflect. So not just studying, not just doing, but they are also reflecting on what they have learned, whether they understood or not, whether they got the idea or not. Okay, face to face, of course, you can ask them to write a short reflective essay, or you can ask them to post on open learning on whether or not they understood this particular topic for the day. Okay, if some students that some of my students, they hardly uh, comment on open learning because they are scared, they are shy that their names will be there, so they will think others will judge them that, oh, this person doesn't know this. So what I did was I created Google Forms. Okay, so in the Google Forms, of course, you can make it anonymous, right? So in the Google form, you can just post that particular question saying that, okay, what have you learned in class today? Is there anything that you don't understand in class? Just these two basic questions. And then you send as a QR code if it's an online class. Of course, upon submission, you can also take it as an attendance, and you also will get to know what are the students' issue? What is it that they understood? What is it that they are lacking of, missing, they don't understand, and so on. We can just, have a rough idea there. Right. So moving on to the next one.
I'm going to share also with you all about this format, which is called the bookend format. I'm sure most of our lectures are about 1 hour minimum and followed by tutorials, or maybe before we actually actively implementing the flipped classroom method, we were told that, oh, your class is 3 hours. So you thought that you need to lecture or teach for 3 hours. But even if your class is only for 1 hour, I will actually recommend this format. As I said just now, when we just started this workshop, that students' attention span is actually getting shorter and shorter. So we want to implement this method so that first is to get yourself relax for a bit. Second is to check whether your student actually listen to you when you are teaching. Third is to see whether they understood the particular segment of your lecture before you move on to a new segment. So as you can see in the picture here, the first on the left hand side, it says advanced organizing, followed by lecture, and then you can see 3 to 4 minute turn to partner, then followed by lecture again, then turn to partner again, then lecture, finally the summary. So what is this advanced organizing? It means we actually want to know what the learners or your students already know. That means their prior knowledge. Usually before we start our class, we can ask question first to see whether they know something about the topic of the day before you actually start your class. Then after you teach for 10 to 12 minutes of lecture, then you can have a short session, 3 to 4 minutes, so that they turn to the people, the person, their partner next to them, think and formulate their own answer. That means they give their answer individually. After maybe you can give them a very simple question related to whatever you have taught just now. Then ask them to share answer individually with their partner. At the same time, after they share, they also listen to their partner's answers, right? So after that, they will work together and create a new answer. Probably this student A, he gave answer A to the partner. Then student B gave another different answer, or something which is missed by student A. They can combine, they discuss, they combine and come out with a new set of answers. That's how they learn. Probably this student A, he was confused or she was confused, so she only know a part of the thing that you taught just now. So through listening to another partner's answer, probably they remember better, they understand better. Then after that, you move on to another segment or another subtopic of your lecture. Finally, after all this repeated process, at the end, you have this 5 to 6 minutes of summary which reflect on the session. Maybe you can, as what Ms. Shamini said just now, you can ask them, for example, what is the most meaningful thing that you learned from the class just now? You can ask them about some suggestion or give comments about the thing that they learned just now. Just get them to reflect, to remember whatever they have just learned. It's not like, oh, I finished teaching already, so now you do your work. Before they actually move on to the discussion, the activities, okay, you get them to think, reflect back first whatever they have learned. So instead of teaching the whole thing in one go, you can segment your lecture, your class, okay, do discussion so that they learn actively, then only you move on. Instead of, the student, they actually, for example, the first section of the lecture, the first segment, they have questions already. They don't understand some of the things they wanted to ask. They cannot clarify. Then you move on, continue until the end. They probably have forgotten whatever they couldn't understand. They forgot already. They couldn't ask on the spot. So probably it's a better idea to do this so that they can learn actively, which is something different from our traditional classroom already. Okay, so this is one method that I think is quite useful, and I actually have been using this method in my English classes. I put together with games, activity, they run around, they do something instead of sitting there listening to me all the while. All right, so I hope this method can help you in the future. Right, so any question or any additional things that Miss Shamini wants to add?
Yeah, in a way, when we say lecture here, right? Lecture doesn't mean again you lecturing everything again, right? It's like a review session where you kind of summarize the content that you ask them to study in place. You ask them to, you kind of like round up that for 10 to 12 minutes. And of course, you ask questions, turn to partner, answer questions and all. So indirectly, we are also in a way, we did this because instead of me talking for 1 hour or 1.5 hours, I did take that 3 to 4 minutes break by giving you a poll question just to check your understanding whether you all are on the same page or not. Or else, trust me, in fact, with students, they probably will go to another tab and start playing games and all. So it is always good to follow this bookend format. Don't get carried away lecturing for half an hour or 1 hour straight. Do partition, segmented sessions here so that you can take a break for yourself and ask them to do some questions, activities, and so on in class.
All right, so that's our first session. Now we are going to let you go for a short break. You can go and wash your face, go to the washroom, grab a cup of coffee for 15 minutes. So that means we will see you again at 11.
Hi korang, so hari ni I nak try L'Oreal Paris punya Viral Powder. Look at how well it covers up.
Lotion Super C plus Vitamin Serum ni lain tau. Ia bukan saja melembabkan,
Hi everyone, welcome back. Are you all back already? Xiaoling is back. Xiaoling and Muna is here only. Mm. Okay, hi everyone. Sanji's emoji is so cute. All right, let's continue with our second session of our training. Okay, so after learning about all the what is flipped classroom, active learning strategies, so we are really now going into the techniques. You have been listening to us about active learning, about flipped classroom. So maybe now you will ask, so if I want to carry out this active learning thing in my class, what are the techniques that we can use? Actually, if you search online, right, there are a lot of active learning techniques. So we are not going to teach and tell you one by one. Instead, we are going to implement active learning now. And this coming activity, next activity, requires you to learn actively. So we are going to implement one of the strategies. Then after that, I will tell you what is it. So let's move on to this. You see here from this picture, you see a lot of active learning techniques. I'm sure some of you, you have heard of, for example, think, pair, share. It's a very popular or common technique that we are using, and we do have this peer review as well. I think some of you could have done this before, brainstorming, role playing. Okay, so we do have a lot of other active learning techniques apart from those mentioned here. So what we are going to do is, okay, you are going to learn about some of the active learning strategies that you saw on the screen just now. And then we are going to share with our friends or our partners later on, which is also one of the active learning strategy. So, Miss Shamini, over to you now.
All right. There you go. Do you see this thing called, do you see this colorful wheel on your screen?
Yes, I can see very colorful.
Yep. I thought, instead of being very gloomy, I thought I want to make it colorful. All right. So what's gonna happen here now is that since it's a very, very small class, so I will just call your names and spin the wheel and assign you an active learning strategy. Only one, right, Miss Wendy? So it's only one. We don't want to make it so difficult for you. So you learn about one one active strategy here. And then I will give you a QR code as well. And in that QR code, there is a very short description about what this learning activity is all about. Okay, so you learn about it. You go through that slide. Okay, so not slides, information. If you need, you can also Google about this active strategy and get to know more information about this active strategy and so on. All right. And then later on, you will be sharing it with your, I'll put you in breakout rooms, and then we'll be sharing you will be sharing your active learning strategy to your other partners, other group members, and they will be sharing theirs to you as well. So in a way, you are the subject expert and you are sharing it with another person, and they are the subject expert for maybe one of the other strategies, and they're sharing it with you. This is one of the active learning strategy that we call it as jigsaw puzzle. But it's okay. There's the jigsaw puzzle is also in one of these, so we can try to implement this here and see how it works. Okay. So first of all, Miss Wendy, can you call a name so that you don't have to toggle between both? Start with Aishwarya. Okay. Aishwarya. Okay. So once you got your active learning strategy here, please acknowledge. Just say yes in the chat box or okay in the chat box, or send an emoji, cute emojis like Fazlin and Sanjay does, so anything so that we know that you already received the message. Okay. So Aishwarya, your the first person to get the active learning strategy is okay. It's a 1-minute paper. Is it okay, Aishwarya? Okay, moving on to the next person. Person is the Wong. Y Wong. Okay, Y Wong. Okay, your strategy is rotating chairs. Miss Fazlin. Ah, 4 corners. Okay, Fazlin. Okay, next. Miss Lu. Oh, no. Lu. 3-step interview. Is it okay? Maybe. Mona. Okay. Numbered hits together. Wow. Okay, Mona. All right. Next is Sanjay. Round robin. Don't worry, don't Google it yet. I'll give you the descriptions so that you can refer to it as a base. Round robin, Mr. Sanjay. Okay. Okay. Okay, next. Xiao Ling. Cooperative graffiti. All right. Next person. Mr. Wong. Soon. Okay. Mr. Wong can soon. Okay, we'll be doing fishbowl. Fishbowl. Okay, anyone else? Okay, so we have already assigned you with one of these active strategy, right? Okay. Hope you're all right. So the names are here. The strategies are also here for your reference. 9 people with 9 strategies. So the next slide to show, you want to put the QR code in the document itself? Huh? Okay. Okay, so you see a QR code here and also the link. Okay, I think I'll share the link in our chat box as well. Okay, so this is the link to a folder. So in your folder, you will see this. Let me show you this. Okay, so when you scan the QR code or when you click the link in the chat box, you will actually see this. Okay, there are 14 active learning strategies here with some description. All right, so let's say yours is a 3-step interview. So you just click on yours, and then you read what is it about how to conduct this particular learning strategy in class. Okay, you read this, and then you can, it's like a self-study kind of thing, right? So you may want to learn more information about this. You can Google more about this, get more information, more knowledge. And then later on, I will put you in your breakout rooms. And in that breakout rooms, you will be sharing your active learning strategies with your group members. So back to the slides. So how long do they get for self-learning usually? Okay, so we'll give you about 10 minutes here. So it's 11:12. So I'll give you about 11:25 lah, extra 3 minutes, bonus 3 minutes there. So I'll give you time until 11:25. So you go through those information, learn about yours, your specific topic that I assigned to you. Okay, and I'll see you back at 11:25. And what will happen at 11:25 is that I will also assign you into your breakout rooms for your discussion. Yes, Xiaoling, what's the question? All right, hello everyone. So I'm sure you have done, you've read through the short notes, and then you've kind of like did your own research also about the particular topics, sorry, particular strategies. All right. So basically, what happened now is that you are the subject expert. This is a jigsaw puzzle kind of strategy. Subject expert means each student, they will be given different subtopic. You learn about the subtopic. They become an expert about the subtopic. And after that, we'll be in a group. Okay, in the group, you share to your other partners or other group members what you have learned. Okay, you are teaching them, and you guys take turn to share your knowledge. Okay, so let me just create 3 rooms here. So there'll be 3 members in a group. Except for Miss Wendy. Sorry, I can't remove you yet. Okay. Is there any question before I put you in the group?
Shamini, one question here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
So in the group, what we are supposed to share is we share with our group member the active learning method that the strategy that we have just now, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, then understood. Thank you.
Something like you teach your members, teach your group members about the active learning strategy that you have read just now.
Okay. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Shamini.
So instead of assigning you all into 3 groups, Miss Shamini will put you into 2 rooms only.
Okay, creating the room now. All right, so welcome back. So I hope that with that sharing, you probably get some ideas on, okay, oh, this is a very interesting technique. I will probably try in my class next time. And I also, in my session, I've shared my experience on doing it. I'm sure Miss Wendy also shared some insight in the other group. It is very, very interesting to hear your creativity actually. There's one member in my group discussion, in fact, already prepared a lesson. So that was very interesting to see how he incorporate that particular technique in a session. So moving on to the next, can you share the screen, Miss Wendy? Sorry. Okay. So it's activity 2. It's let's review 10 minutes for Quizlet. So what are they doing for the 10 minutes? They just read.
Yep. So, like I said in my breakout room just now, you learn about the techniques shared by your members in the group only. What about the other rooms? We have more active learning strategies that you can use in your future classes. So here you can scan the QR code, which leads you to the Quizlet with other many more active learning strategies. We are giving you 10 minutes time to look through, to learn about the strategies. Then after that, we will review together, right? So it's 11:51 now. I'll give you time until 12 to learn about the strategies, all right? Any problem with the QR code? Can you see the words after scanning it? You see the words, right? Okay. Okay, thank you, Sally. So 12 p.m., then we'll move on to our next activity.
This Quizlet is also something that we use. I mean, you can read while listening if you are. Quizlet is something that we use very commonly in language department, where you give a term and when you click, the description or the definition or the detail about those terms are there given. And just give them some time for them to do their own reading. Okay, there are different terms, right? So just go through that first, and then we will tell you what we do with this Quizlet.
everyone. It's already 12 p.m. Hope you managed to read through the strategies. So now let me share with you, some of you, maybe all of you are quite familiar with Quizlet already. Let me just check. Anyone here who have not heard of Quizlet or used Quizlet before? Anyone here have not conducted or used Quizlet before? So I assume, okay, Sanjay has not used before. All right, so let me share with you on how we are going to do. I've never used it in class. All right, so I will share step by step on how to use Quizlet. So you have to first have an account, a teacher account in Quizlet. So this is a platform which is very good if you are teaching terms which are new for the students. It is basically very good for vocabulary. So if let's say for selling, for example, you are teaching biology, you want the student to learn about the terms, you can do this Quizlet. So basically what you do is after you have created a teacher account, right? So on Quizlet, you create the term with the meaning. So when you key in the term, it will have some suggestion on the definition of the term that you have keyed in. Or if you want, you can put in your own simpler or shorter definition for the particular word. After that, you can just share the QR code or the link to your student and then ask them to self-study before they come to class, for example. Like what you did just now, I give you some time, you study, you read through the words and the definition. Then now comes to the fun part. However, because now we are on online platform, so it might not be so interesting, but if the students are in physical classes, I think they will enjoy this live game very much. So let me share with you on when you are doing it online, what you can do is this. Okay, so this is a teacher's account. So what you want to do is this Classic Live. Okay, Classic Live. So you click on Classic Live. Then, okay, you have these two options, random teams and individuals. So if let's say you are doing it online, like what we are doing it now, we will choose individuals. However, if students are in physical classes, I think they will enjoy random teams. So which means if you click random teams, the system will automatically assign the student to different groups, and then their names will be displayed on the screen. So they need to look at the screen and find their teammates to sit together, because the answers will appear on either one of the teammates' phone. So that's why they need to sit together and put their phones together. Because when the question appear, the answer might be on student A's phone, student B, student C's phone. So they need to put all their phones together. And then you can actually switch the teams after one round, up to you. Then they will have to move around in the room again. So now we will go and try on this individual one, then you will see how it goes. So you can choose like whether you want the student to see the definition first and choose the answer, like on the left hand side, the first one, or on the right hand side, this particular format is they will see the name of the active learning strategy, then they will choose the correct definition, which is I think more challenging because the answers they are quite long, they have to read to match. Right, so let's try the first one, which is the easier one. Okay, so we'll go this. Okay, so the student can either scan the QR code or they go to this address, www.quizlet.live, and then key in this code. So you all can try out now using your computer or your phone. Only 5? Okay, never mind. Let's try out first to get you to know what is Quizlet about, yeah? Oh, okay. Sanjay is in. All right, I assume everybody is in. We have 8 now. Anybody missing? Okay, all right, let's start. So the game will actually end when one of you manage to answer all the questions correctly because it's an individual game. So let's try. So see here, these are all your group names. So imagine now if you are letting the student to play in teams, right? So under these zebras, you will have maybe 3 to 4 names, students' name. Then they will have to sit together. So they are the zebras team, for example. So since now you are playing it individually, so you will answer on your own device only. You don't need to actually look at my screen to choose the answers. So, okay, let's start the game. Wow, we have the winner. See, so if let's say one of you managed to answer all questions correctly, then the whole game will actually end. Then you can actually see who's the winner. For the rest, I think we cannot see the student's name. Only for the winner, you will see who is it, and all the members' name will appear here. Then you see on the left-hand side, you can play again, and there will be an option for you to switch the teams. Right? So I hope you are going to try this Quizlet in future. Like those of you who said you have heard of this Quizlet before, but you have never used it, maybe you can start using it, because the vocabulary terms that you created can be used for future classes if you're teaching the same topic again and again. You don't need to actually create. Some of the terms, if you feel like you want to put in pictures for them to understand easier, you can also. And actually the system allows the student to listen to the pronunciation of the word as well. And they can actually learn through different activities like spelling tests, fill in the blanks, and so on. So it's a quite useful platform that you can use in just in case you're teaching vocabulary terms. Right, so Miss Shamini, anything to add?
Not really, but it will be really, really fun when you actually play with a group of friends, because the amount of excitement you see is different. They will be really excited. I tried with some of my students, and they were really frustrated when they lose, especially, they go all
They
the
click
way
wrongly.
until,
They click wrongly.
they click wrongly, yes. They go all the way to question number 8, and then they click wrongly, and then they have to go back. So, the frustration. So it's like the environment will be very, very active for sure. So perhaps you can use it. Even for design lecturers, you can try with some of the terms and see biology, chemistry also, computing also, I believe there will be some terms that you need to learn and all. So you can try this task and see. So that's all from me. And there should be one more activity, right?
Yeah.
Cindy?
Right, so let's look at our next activity, which is, sorry, it's all right. Our next activity, can you see my screen? No. All right. Our next activity is, since you learn about the active learning strategies already, so now I would like you to plan. Let's say just now, while we are doing all the activities already, you are looking at all those active learning strategies. Find some of the strategies that you think is very useful for your future lesson. Why not now you try to just put it down on paper? Okay, plan your flipped lesson using at least one of the active learning strategy that you read or you learned just now. Okay, so here is one example. Oh, sorry. I would like you all to download this template. Shani, maybe you can share the link in the chat box. Okay, you can download the template first, and then Miss Shamini, she will share with you her example. Then maybe you can have a better idea of what to do in the lesson plan. This lesson plan is just a guideline. We don't need you to do a perfect lesson plan and pass up as your homework or attendance. Okay, you are not students. It's just to help you to have an idea. In the future, you can actually do this. And later on, we are going to share our ideas together and get feedback. Right, Miss Shamini, you want to share your example?
Yeah, so before you guys start working on this, just to let you know, remind you again, this is not an editable template. You will need to download the template and then you edit in your own on your own device. Yeah. So one of the simple sample that I created is this very simple. You don't have to add a lot of information. Okay. So like this, the template looks something like this. So you, of course, you fill in all your personal details first. So the topic that I'm focusing here is on tenses. All right, so tenses, of course, you have 12 different tenses and all, right? So 3-hour lesson. So what are your lesson learning outcome? So in this case, one is to identify correctly the different tenses, understand the implications of the tenses, and create complex sentences using multiple tenses. So, you know, these are my learning outcomes. So, and then you will have to list down your activities, your active learning techniques, what techniques you will be using here. So I will be using these three. One is the sorting strip. Another one will be World Cafe conversation. And the third one is 1 minute paper. So of course, before class, I give them an Edpuzzle. Of course, they prepared before, right? But I forgot to add this in. Edpuzzle, a video on all the 12 tenses. So as they watch, they also answer questions. So they will be actively engaged in the video instead of just playing and ignoring it. So before that, they will do this Edpuzzle thing. And then during class, which is the 3-hour session here, what they will be doing is I will categorize them into groups of 3 to 4 members. Of course, I will recall the topics, okay, to see what they have learned, whether they've learned or not. I'll ask them some random questions and, you know, expect them to give some responses so that, you know, I will know whether they actually watch the video or not. And then the first active learning activity that I will do is, of course, sorting strip. So I've already prepared this earlier and I've already laminated it. Tell you lamination is really good, especially when it comes to physical sessions, since everyone is back to physical activities. So I prepared like about 30 strips of laminated papers. Okay, I will give to the students. So the students will need to categorize those sentences into the correct tenses. So these strips will be separated, yeah, different sentences. So I have 30 of them that I'll give to the students. They will have to identify, or they probably will have a piece of paper or a margin paper, depends on the size of the class. And then they will just, you know, sort them according to their tenses. So that will actually keep them engaged and, you know, to finish first. Who will finish first? Who is lacking behind and all. And then the next activity here is I will using World Cafe conversation task. Okay, so what is a World Cafe conversation? World Cafe conversation is something like a conference kind of thing. So if the students bring laptop, then I will advise them to use Canva, or if they not, then I will just give mahjong papers to them. So these groups, right, they each of them will receive 1/10. So in total, they will have 12 groups there, right? So out of the 12 groups, each one of them get 1/10. And then what they will have to do is they will have to create an infographic poster. Okay, using Canva infographic poster, the templates are already there. So I will tell them in advance what are the things that they need to find. What is the structure of the tense? Is there a specific, what is the use of the tense? And then what are the example of sentences that you can use in the tense? What is the timeline of the tense? Where is past tense supposed to be located? So all these things I will give them as a question. They will have to discuss and answer in infographic poster, right? So once they have created this, then these representatives of the group, right? These 12 students, will stand in the corners of the classroom. Okay, all different corners. So it's like a conference, when you're presenting a poster, people will be walking around to your booth and then you try to explain to them your product. So similarly, when students, one representative will be there with the laptop, with the Canva plate poster. So all the other students will be walking around randomly, up to them which tense they want to go first. They will go there, and then the representative will describe, okay, this is present tense. This tense is simple present. This simple present is used to indicate habitual reasons, or it is used to say daily thing or facts. Okay, they will present to the students. Okay, and then once they got the information, then they will move on to a different booth, a different corner. So in this way, most of the students, they will be walking around listening instead of sitting and listening to a lecture. So this one, they just go to the class. So I will make it more advanced in a way that I'll also ask the students to prepare 5 questions. So in these 5 questions, maybe they can do it in Kahoot or quizzes. Okay, so after listening to their presentation, the students, the group of students, they can play the game, answer the 5 questions to check their understanding. So this will definitely keep them walking around. Of course, representative don't just get to stand there and present. They can take turn with other group members so that they also get a chance to walk around. This is World Cafe conversation. Similar, just imagine you're in a conference and you are walking around poster presentations. So it's a similar concept. And then finally, I will use Bamboozle to review the topic. So Bamboozle is an activity where it's like Jeopardy. There will be a lot of questions, tenses related questions. There'll be 24 numbers, so students choose a number, answer the question. Sometimes you'll get power ups, sometimes they get marks deducted, and so on. If you play Bamboozle, or if you're aware of this Bamboozle, I'm sure that most of my classes, they enjoy this particular game called Bamboozle. Perhaps you might want to Google it and you want to try and see. So once you're done with this, after the class, I ask them to come up with a reflection and a 1-minute paper. So in this 1-minute paper, I will either ask them to write a reflection of their understanding of the topic, or I will make it more specific, as in write 1 sentence for all 12 tenses. And then you post on Open Learning, so that, it's like something that they do after class. So you can also check their understanding based on this. So this is just my sample of what I did in my class, my English grammar class for the topic tenses. So now think about your topic, think about your subject, and then you try to create a very, very simple lesson plan for about 2 hours or 3 hours. Correct? How long are we giving Miss Wendy? For them to prepare? Okay, maybe about 10 minutes. Okay, so give about 10 minutes. So you prepare, and then you can do some review and reflection on those preparation.
Remember that lesson plan is for you later on when you explain. As long as you understand what you yourself is writing, you don't need to submit to us, or you don't need to write a very detailed lesson plan to submit, just to quickly plan something and then just explain verbally later on, and we can discuss and get some feedback for you to improve your lesson plan.
right. Based on the list, I think I will choose the first person in my list, which is Aishwarya.
We are very excited to listen to your lesson plan.
I have not completed it, but I'll share what I have.
Yeah.
Okay, share button. Okay. Okay, so I only managed to list two active learning techniques. I've only got to think about these two. So this is for my class of Introduction to Sociology. And the topic that I've chosen is on socialization, and the class duration is for 2 hours. So I've listed the learning outcomes there. And the two active learning activities that I've chosen is 4 corners and 1 minute paper. I have not decided what I wanted to do before the class. So during the class, I was thinking of asking, because there are a number of powerful agents of socialization. So I was thinking of employing the 4 corners technique here, whereby I put up the 4 agents of socialization on 4 corners of the classroom, and I asked them to go stand at the corner at which they feel has the most powerful agent of socialization. So those who are going to go and stand in each of these corners, they're going to discuss among themselves as to why they chose it. And then later on, they will share with the entire class as to why they think it's the most powerful agent. And after class, of course, I was thinking of doing the 1 minute paper, whereby they will be given that 60 seconds, summarize just on why they think socialization is important, why is it extremely important in the development of humans, and they are not going to write this on a piece of paper, but I'm going to provide them with a Mentimeter link, and they're going to post their responses on Mentimeter. And this is, I only have this much.
Good, interesting. Interesting that you use 4 corners there. Usually we use 4 corners for debate or give an essay topic and what are the points. It's just to trigger oral communication thing, make them speak and all. But it's interesting that you use it for this topic. And 1 minute paper, I also find it interesting that you, instead of doing it the old way, where you write it on a paper or post it on Open Learning or what, you just use Mentimeter, so it's a quick and instant summarization. Maybe it's like a few words, right? You don't even have to write a full sentence there. So before class, can I just check whether the when your topic is about powerful agent of socialization, so are they aware of this content before?
No, they are not familiar with this term. So I'm going to, this is going to be a new term that I'll be introducing to them.
So perhaps using flip method, you can provide the content and all to them before class itself, either use Edpuzzle, or you can post a video, or you can share, or maybe you can even ask them to do a short research and prepare a short infographic just to write the notes and all, and they can also share that in class later on during this 4 corners. Interesting. Thank you very much, Aishwarya.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Moving on. Miss Wendy, would you like to choose someone now?
Yep. So based on sharing just now, I have also put in some suggestion in the chat box. So I couldn't talk when Miss Shamini is talking. Okay, next can we have oh, we have lesser participants now, Miss Shamini. All right, can we maybe have Muna?
Okay, I'm not done yet, so I just share whatever I have here. Okay. Okay, so the topic that I chose, okay, I'm teaching chemistry 2. So the topic is about introduction to organic chemistry. The class duration is about 2 hours. So the learning outcome for this topic, the students, they need to describe the chemical bonding. So we have 3 types of chemical bonding here. One is ionic, hydrogen bonding, and metallic bonding. So after that, they must be able to draw the dot and cross diagram. And also, they must be able to use simple examples to show this ionic bonding. Okay, so the techniques that I can think about now is I'm going to use first is jigsaw group projects and 1 minute paper. Okay, so before class, I will post the videos on this topic, chemical bonding. I posted in OL first. So the students, they need to watch the video first. Then during class, I will use a jigsaw group project. So meaning that I will divide, because I have 3 chemical bonding here. So I will divide them into 3 groups. So each group, they will have the expert students. Okay, so they still have to research about this ionic, hydrogen, and metallic bonding. Then after that, they will share with the other members. Okay, so once they understand about all these chemical bonding, then I will use the 1 minute paper. So meaning that I will ask them questions, then they will give me answer.
Oh, interesting. So this 1 minute paper technique happens during class and not after class.
Yeah.
It's just to summarize your lesson.
Yes, just to test their understanding about, whether they understand about the chemical bonding or not.
Interesting, interesting. So is there any application that you will be using for this 1 minute paper, or just by paper or just verbally?
Usually what I did in my class is they have to write their answers. This one is I will call their name, and then they just write their answers on the whiteboard.
On the whiteboard, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
like what Miss Aishwarya did, maybe you can also create a Mentimeter, which is very interesting. I think I will use that method in my next classes also. Use Mentimeter and just post the question there so that all the students will be able to write something, and you can see what is the common understanding. If you use the cloud, right, you'll see a common understanding about the topics. So and you'll see all the smaller Mentimeter.
Mentimeter, okay.
And then probably there will be only one student who gave a different answer. Then you'll know, okay, maybe one of the student have a wrong understanding about this, so you can correct them on the time exam. It's very interesting. Yeah, thanks, Ms. Wendy, for sharing it. And I think for this topic, jigsaw group is really, really useful, as you divide them into expert groups and home group and all, which is quite useful. I've also used that in one of my lessons. Of course, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You have to repeat the thing again. But the most important thing is you try to let them explain first. Okay, thank you very much, Mona. It's a very good
Thank you, Shamini.
plan.
Just a reminder, if let's say because I saw that now she actually planned to let students watch a video before they come for their class. Just a reminder for everyone. We noticed that if let's say we just ask the student to watch the video, usually there are times that students will not watch. So what we usually do is there has to be a task or something that follows or during the video watching session so that they really go and watch it. If not, they will just play the video or they will not even play the video at all. They will not watch. So usually what we do is either you use Edpuzzle. When they watch until a certain part, there will be question appearing that they need to answer. Or the other thing is you create a question or something for them to answer after the video, so that they really go and watch it. Tell them that there's something that they need to complete after watching the video. If not, they will not watch the video. That's my experience. I'm sure Ms. Shamini also experienced this as well. All right, so thank you very much for your sharing. I hope the rest also get some ideas about the active learning strategies that you can implement in your lesson in the future. Right. So let's move on to some. Let's wrap up before we end our session today. Right. So after presenting, let's look at some of the things you take note of. Right. So remember this, yeah. Even if you are not using the active learning strategies that we suggested just now, just remember whenever you want to make your class or your sessions active, first of all, identify the learning outcome of the lesson first. What you want the students to do or to achieve before you plan your active learning lesson. And then identify the core concepts, the need to know, what you really want the students to know. Then based on the need to know, then you focus on the need to know, only you come up with the active learning strategies. Also, after that, select appropriate activity and tools. Like I said just now, after you identify the need to know, you choose the suitable activity or strategies that you can use in your lesson. Lastly, state instructions clearly. This one was also mentioned by Ms. Shamini just now. Every time, whenever you want a student to do something, you need to state in clear instructions and in detail. Some of the students, if you just say it verbally, they will not remember or they will not understand. So maybe you can put down in words clearly what you want them to do, step by step, in detail, so that they understand and they follow the instructions. Right, some of the reminders Ms. Shamini would like to remind you all for your lessons.
First things first, always remember when you're planning, you be confident, and especially when you want to carry out this task in class, be confident, because sometimes you might be too ambitious on paper that you want to plan this, but later on, if you don't have the confidence to carry out, then it might crumble, it won't be a success. So be confident when you want to carry out your task. Next one, clear instructions. Again, I believe Ms. Wendy has already mentioned earlier. Put it in clear instructions. Okay, if no instructions, then imagine they will get lost. They don't know what to do. So in the end, they won't do it at all. Number 3, it's always good to have a backup activity. Okay, especially in class. If let's say you plan a jigsaw activity here, right? Jigsaw group puzzle activity here. If let's say it didn't go well as expected, okay, students were not well prepared earlier. They were like kind of like play around. They don't know how to explain and all. It's okay. You can cut short that and move to another activity that might help the understanding of the topic. Okay, so always good to have a backup activity in your planning. And the 4th one is always reflect. this is very important, not just for the students, but also for us teachers, because I am doing this learning confidently now is because I've reflected a lot in previously. A lot of times I fail and I kind of like reflect back why it's not working, why it's not working. So as I think and think and think, I reflect back and I tweak here, tweak there, do some changes there. And I wouldn't say it's perfect now, but at least when you think about it, it was not as bad as how I first started it. At least I still have some flaws, but it's not as really, really bad as how I started it. And last but not the least, my final reminder to you, don't be a perfectionist. Okay. We lecturers, we have this tendency of, producing everything perfectly to the students so that, students can learn a lot of things from it. No, if you try to be perfectionist, right, in the end, if something didn't happen your way, you will really, really crumble down. So try your best. Okay, again, always have a backup activity. You don't have to be so down saying that, oh, I tried this method, it didn't happen, so I'm not going to use this method again. No, it's okay. Never mind. It's okay to have flaws in your activity here and there. You are also trying. We are all trying together to provide a good education for the students. So it's okay if it didn't happen. You can try again the next time. All right. So that's all the reminders from me. And have fun flipping with active learning techniques in class. I hope you all have learned one or two new techniques here. You can always go back to the slides, to the URL and read the other techniques as well. All right. So have fun. Thank you for staying till now. Hope you have learned something. And Miss Wendy?
Also, I would like to thank everyone for supporting us and stay with us until the end. Like I said, hi Vanessa. Right. So thank you very much.
Hi, Vanessa.
And so Vanessa, you also stay until the end from the start?
I had Senate meetings, so once it's finished, I came and see what they're doing, what you guys are doing. It's interesting. Some of which they've already applied in classroom. But you have different names for it, like fishbowl. Nice. You should do it again. Because only 10 of them came. Right? How many participants you had? 10.
I'm sure everyone is busy marking.
Yes,
it's end of the
wrong
semester.
timing, but you should do it again.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
Have a
bye-bye.
good
All right,
weekend.
thanks everyone. Have a good weekend.
Have a good long weekend. And happy Labour Day. Thank you and bye-bye.